Hey guys, YouTuber100 here. Alright, and now here I am with number 2 on my list of reviews for picked for the top 10 best hand-drawn animated Disney movies, which is Pinocchio. So, yeah, Pinocchio, it is just, Pinocchio is really like just a flawless film, really. I mean, yeah, both Pinocchio and what I have in the number 1 spot are really just maybe the most perfect hand-drawn animated Disney movies of all time. I mean, I can't really find anything wrong with either one of these two movies, really. I mean, yeah, Pinocchio, it is just a great movie. I mean, yeah, I definitely say that this is the best animated film Walt Disney had worked on, and yeah, this was just the second animated Disney movie ever made. Yeah, only Snow White obviously was made before this, and yeah, yeah, Pinocchio has just really stood the test of time. People still watch it and love it to this day, and yeah, rightfully so. It is a great, great film. I mean, yeah, but yeah, it's really like pretty dark too. I mean, you could really make the argument that this is like the darkest animated Disney movie of all time. And yeah, I mean, just it is real dark in terms of like a kids' film. I mean, yeah, just some of the imagery and scenes in this movie are just like really terrifying for little kids. I mean, I don't know if like this was really an intent by Walt Disney, if he was just doing this to just get kids to act better and not misbehave. I mean, yeah, because just yeah, if you're a little kid and you're watching this, I mean, some of the imagery in here is just like really terrifying. I mean, yeah, Nostalgia Critic said in his December review that the book was just like much more dark, and I mean, I can even imagine what the book includes that isn't in this movie, because I mean, the stuff in here, I mean, yeah, this is just really traumatizing if you're a little kid. I mean, yeah, there's just a bunch of dark things in this movie. I mean, you have where Stromboli just locks up Pinocchio. Oh, you have what happens with like the boys being transformed into donkeys. I mean, oh my gosh. And of course, there's also like Pinocchio's nose growing longer. And of course, there's the scene with the whale at the end of the movie. The monstro. Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was a little kid, I was just really, like, freaked out by the monstro scene. I mean, it was just really, you just bone chilling for me just seeing the enormous whale go after Pinocchio and Geppetto like that. I mean, it was just such a traumatizing scene, and yeah, a lot of just dark moments in this movie, and yeah, they're all really memorable. And yeah, this movie, it is a great film. A lot of memorable characters. There's of course Pinocchio, Jiminy Cricket, Geppetto, the Blue Fairy, Stromboli, Honest John, Gideon. I mean, just a lot of memorable characters in this movie. And yeah, a lot of memorable songs in here too. When You Wish Upon a Star, Little Wooden Head, Give a Little Whistle, Actor's Life for Me, No Strings on Me. Yeah, I mean, just a lot of memorable songs in here. And yeah, just about, yeah, I mean, everything about this movie really is just great. I mean, I really can't find anything wrong with this movie at all. I mean, like I said, this and what I have in the number 1 spot are probably like two of the most perfect Disney films of all time. Yeah, just I can't find anything really wrong with either film. I mean, they're both really great. I mean, yeah, there are like a couple of things about this movie that I really like don't understand really, but I mean, it's not like they're problems or anything. I just like kind of really don't quite understand them because they just really don't seem to make that much sense to me. But yeah, it's just a couple of things, and yeah, those really like my only gripes with the movie. I mean, I've really got nothing to complain about here. I mean, Pinocchio, it is a great film. I do give this movie a solid 4 stars out of 4. I mean, yeah, just Pinocchio, it is a great film. I can't say that enough. I mean, it is great. I mean, yeah, Pinocchio, like the Nostalgia Critic said, I mean, he is a really good character. I mean, yeah, Pinocchio is a lot very realistic in terms of actual boys. I mean, yeah, because like Natasha Critic said, I mean, Pinocchio really is not like a perfect angel or anything. Like, Pinocchio does go through a lot of conflicts, and yeah, he does learn from his mistakes, and he wants to, like, do bad things. And yeah, I mean, yeah, and Pinocchio does learn from them. So yeah, Pinocchio is a very realistic character. And and yeah, yeah, the other characters also really great. Yeah, I mean, Jiminy Cricket. Yeah, people except for Nostalgia could really seem to love him. Geppetto, he's a really great character too. And yeah, like Nostalgia Critic said, I mean, since Geppetto actually does like have the background, maybe this film should actually be set around him. But it's not. It's really, yeah, the movie's really about Pinocchio. But yeah, Geppetto, he's a really great character too. And yeah, just yeah, tons of great and memorable characters in this movie. I mean, yeah, just yeah, I mean, characters are great, songs are great, conflicts are great. I mean, the movie is just great. Yeah. So yeah, let me just get right into it. So the movie opens up with "When You Wish Upon a Star" being sang by Jiminy Cricket during the opening titles. Then it shows Jiminy Cricket over a Pinocchio book, and Jiminy Cricket was explaining that he's telling a story of a wish coming true. And then Jiminy Cricket was just talking about him, him exploring the town or something. And then he comes across Geppetto's workshop, and then he finds the a small puppet boy, and just as Geppetto was finishing him up, and then yeah, Geppetto decides to name the puppet Pinocchio. And both Geppetto's cat Figaro and his fish Cleo don't like the name. And yeah, I should also like talk a little bit about the cat Figaro. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Figaro. This is the same cat that was also like used in a lot of like the Mickey Mouse shorts as Minnie's pet. So yeah, Figaro. Yeah, he's not just known for this movie. Like, he's also like featured like a continuous Disney character for Minnie Mouse's pet. So yeah, kind of interesting there. Yeah. And then as Geppetto later on went to bed, he before he did, he made a wish upon a star, wishing that Pinocchio was a real boy. And then that night, then the blue fairy then came and brought Pinocchio to life. But Pinocchio wasn't a real boy yet. He was still a puppet. The blue fairy told Pinocchio that if he proves himself brave, truthful, and unselfish, that he would become a real boy someday. And she also assigns Jiminy Cricket to be Pinocchio's conscience. And as Jiminy Cricket was like just telling Pinocchio what to do if he ever needs Jiminy Cricket, then like Pinocchio accidentally makes some noise and wakes up Geppetto, and then Geppetto discovers Pinocchio is alive and his wish has come true, and then yeah, Pinocchio and Geppetto are just celebrating together. Then the next morning, then Pinocchio was sent off to school, and yeah, this was something that I really like don't quite understand. I mean, this is something that I've always really questioned. I mean, we know that Pinocchio doesn't end up going to school, but how would it have worked if he actually did go? Because since he was still a puppet, I mean, what would the other kids at the school have thought? And even, like, the teacher, if Pinocchio had actually did arrive at school while he was still a puppet, I mean, how would that have even worked for the kids? I mean, the kids and the teacher probably would have thought that they had just went mad, since that there was this live puppet at school as a student. So, yeah, that's something that I really like have always kind of questioned, because I mean, I just don't really see how it would really work. But anyway, yeah, as Pinocchio was on his way to school, he then and was seen by the fox, Honest John, and Gideon the cat, his companion. And then they told Pinocchio about Stromboli's puppet show. And Jiminy Cricket tried to convince Pinocchio not to go with them and that he should go to school, but Pinocchio ended up going with them anyway. And later that night, Pinocchio was in Stromboli's show, and he was just the star attraction. And of course, Jiminy Cricket wasn't happy about Pinocchio and what he did, and he just felt that since Pinocchio had become a star, he felt that Pinocchio didn't need him anymore. And later that night, Geppetto went out looking for Pinocchio since Pinocchio was gone for a long time, and Stromboli he saw like how much money Pinocchio actually did make him. And when Pinocchio wanted to go home for the night, Stromboli wouldn't let him and just locked him up in a birdcage, telling him that that is his home now, and he's just gonna use Pinocchio to travel throughout the world to make money. And whenever he's done with Pinocchio, he's just gonna make him into firewood. And then, yeah, he locked Pinocchio up in his carriage and started to head off. And Jiminy Cricket tried to help Pinocchio after he saw the predicament Pinocchio was in, but he wasn't able to free Pinocchio from the cage. And then eventually the Blue Fairy then appeared, and she started to talk to Pinocchio, asking him why he didn't go to school. And yeah, Pinocchio then just started to lie, saying that he was kidnapped by monsters and tied in a sack. And every time he told the lie, his nose got longer and longer, and even started like to grow branches in a nest. Yes, yep. And yeah, the Blue Fairy was just starting to tell Pinocchio that that's not what real boys do. And yeah, Pinocchio vowed to be good. And yeah, with the help of Jiminy Cricket, the Blue Fairy then forgave Pinocchio and restored his nose back. But she also told him that that would be the last time she'd be able to help him. And then a real boy should be good, or may as well be wooden. And then, of course, then Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket then escape from Stromboli's carriage. And then Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket then started to head home. But then, as that's going on, Honest John Gideon and came across a coachman who told them that he'd pay them money if they were able to find some boys for him to take to Pleasure Island, where they would be transformed into donkeys if they misbehave. And then they found Pinocchio, and then they convinced him to take a vacation there. And Jiminy Cricket then saw Pinocchio going off with him again, and went to try to get Pinocchio again. And as Pinocchio and other boys were being taken to Pleasure Island, he then met another boy, Lampwick, who was kind of like a really misbehaved boy. And then, yeah, once they arrived at an amusement park, or like Pinocchio and all the other boys were just doing a lot of misbehaving stuff. They were smoking, drinking, gambling, and just vandalizing. And of course, Jiminy Cricket wasn't happy about it. And as he was like questioning Pinocchio about it, yeah, Pinocchio told Geppetto that Lampwick was his best friend and he should be easy on him. And of course, Jiminy Cricket wasn't happy about that because since he felt that he was Pinocchio's best friend, and then he just decided to leave and just go without Pinocchio. But then he discovered that like there are the misbehaving boys that are transformed into donkeys. Yeah, the ones that just really are unable to talk now, they are then just sold into like a mining place. And the ones that can talk, like they all just get cornered, and yeah, we really never find out what happens to them. And yeah, that's actually like kind of dark too. I mean, what do they do? Do they just like do they kill them? Do they like just keep them locked up? Like, what do they do to the ones that can talk? So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's something that's really never really resolved. We never find out what happens and what the outcome turns out to be. So yeah, kind of dark right there. And after Jiminy Cricket finds out about that, he then races back to Pinocchio to warn him. Then it's shown that Lampwick is then transformed into a donkey, and then Pinocchio was starting to be transformed into one too, with growing a sudden nose and a tail, and Pinocchio was like starting to like bray like a donkey. And then yeah, Jiminy Cricket then arrives and is able to Pinocchio to escape before the transformation is complete. And yeah, Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket eventually race back home, and then they find that Geppetto's workshop is empty. And then, after they get a message from the Blue Fairy, they find out that Geppetto went out to search for Pinocchio and ended up being swallowed by a giant whale named Monstro and is now in Monstro's belly. Then, Pinocchio and Geppetto went into the sea to try to find Monstro and rescue Geppetto. Oh, and then they eventually do find Monstro, and then, yeah, Pinocchio then gets reunited with Geppetto. Then Pinocchio comes up with a plan for them to escape from Monstro and get him to sneeze. And then, yeah, they are able to escape, but yeah, Monstro ends up chasing them while they're on a raft. And then, at one point, then Monstro's huge tail then comes down, and Pinocchio and Geppetto end up bailing from the raft, and Monstro's tail smashes it. And Pinocchio ends up saving Geppetto from drowning, and Pinocchio races to swim into a cave to get away from Monstro, and then just right as Pinocchio swam into it, Monstro just ended up crashing into it, and yeah, Geppetto, Figaro, and Cleo, and also Jiminy Cricket ended up getting washed up on the beach. And then Jiminy Cricket just found Pinocchio just motionless, face down in like a puddle. And yeah, Pinocchio supposedly died, which, yeah, if you think about it, he really shouldn't have really died there. I mean, because, yeah, Pinocchio actually was able to, like, turn his whole body around without moving his head. And so, yeah, I mean, he can survive through that, but, like, a big splash or something ends up killing him. Yeah. And then, back at Geppetto's workshop, they're all mourning over Pinocchio's supposed death. And the Blue Fairy then decided after that Pinocchio had proven himself everything he needed to do to become a real boy, and then she transformed him into a real boy. And then, yeah, Geppetto was, of course, happy about it, and yeah, Figaro actually, like, jumped into Cleo's fishbowl and then kissed her. Yeah, and then, of course, they were all celebrating, and as they were, Jiminy Cricket then just stepped outside of the window and thanked the Blue Fairy, and then he got awarded with a gold badge that certified him as an official conscience. And, yeah, the movie just played out with finishing When You Wish Upon a Star. And yeah, that's how it ended. So, yeah, like I said, 4 stars out of 4. I mean, yeah, basically, it's like just the perfect Disney movie, along with what I have in the #1 spot. Yeah, I mean, just great, great movie. I mean, yeah, like I said, if, like, just the school situation and his supposed death are really my only minor gripes with the movie, then, yeah, I mean, I guess, that's really just, yeah, that just pretty much just shows that this movie is basically perfect. And yeah, it is just a classic. Alright, so yeah, that does it for my review of Pinocchio. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. And yeah, stay tuned next time when I finish up this series of reviews for the 10 best hand-drawn animated Disney movies with my review of #1. I won't say what it is here, but you can probably guess what it is. Because, yeah, this is probably the movie that just about everybody would say is the best animated Disney movie of all time. So, yeah, you guys probably have a clue with what it is. Yeah, you'll see what it is next time when I make my review for that, finishing off these top 10 movies. So, yeah, but anyway, alright, so yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Pinocchio. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.